suppose my interpretation of words is typography. That's what I do. I studied typography. I'm obsessed with lettering, and I kind of believe that you can create words, or you can create images with type. And when I say that, I don't mean that you can make letters out of spaghetti and call that typography. That's a real massive, I think that's a big misunderstanding of the word of typography. I was looking at the shop windows upstairs. They shop window displays, and they're brilliant. But for me, I suppose they go into a different area. They're kind of expanded typography. But I'm going to really talk about what I think typography is. The first thing is Herbert Spencer. I've got some notes here. Maybe you know who Herbert Spencer is. Does anyone know who Herbert Spencer was? Yeah? One? Any more? Yeah, a few? Okay. You should check out Herbert Spencer. He was a brilliant typographer, educator, and he actually, I don't know if you guys know, but he actually did a book which is the same as this series of events, this installation, what's this called? Exhibition, installation, project, program thing? It was called Words, 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 and it's written and designed by him, and obviously it comes from the Hamlet play, I think it's a play, where someone called Lord Polinius, who I don't know who that was, he says, "What do you read, my lord?" And Hamlet says, "Words, words, words." So this is the cover, and these are the insides. And for me, I think it's really interesting because he's using the kind of negative space within words. And a lot of designers, especially typographers, concentrate on the negative space within typography. And this is done, so I should say, this was done in 1972. And this is quite radical, I think, for 1972. And what Herbert was trying to do was he was trying to obviously mimic what the phrase was saying. So the first phrase, and I've written it down here, is "prune thou thy words." You can see it here. It's also in German. It's dual language. "Pure thou thy words." And he's simply cutting off enough of the letter forms so it's still legible. And I think this is kind of, for me, this is an image as well. It's an image made from typography. It's weird because I can't see the image on the screen here, so I have to look up. Okay, you can't really see this one, but this one's brilliant. You can see down here, I'm going to read it out. There's a quote from Pythagoras, which says, "Either be silent or speak words that are better than silence." So, of course, what he's doing here, he's using space. He's using white space. He's using, I suppose, graphic design in trying to have nothing on the page, to be silent. And the quote at the top is from Pythagoras, which says, oh no, I've done the Pythagoras one. The next one is from someone called Charles Swinburne. "For words divide and rend, but silence is most noble till the end." So that's Herbert Spencer. Next person that I want to talk about is someone called, I think I pronounced his name right, it's called Gombrindja. Has anyone ever come across him before? No? He is, or was, I think he's still alive. He was the founding kind of father of concrete poetry. And again, concrete poetry is this notion within poetry where the poet would try and translate what the words are saying in a visual form. So you can see this leads on from the silence one. This is Silenzo. And for me, it's a brilliant bit of graphic design because it says it all. He's not trying too hard. He's just, obviously, your eyes drawn to this white space in the middle. And yeah, I think it's pretty amazing. What's next? Okay. Ian Hamilton Finlay. This is from 1964. And does anything happen to your eyes when you look at this? Is anything happening? Maybe you can't see on the screen. Is everything all right with your eyes, or is it things starting to do something? Is it moving a bit? Yeah, okay. And that's, again, just done with typography. It's just done with letters that are making words. You know, if you read it horizontally, it doesn't make any sense, but you're drawn to read it diagonally, and obviously that's referencing the kind of the word acrobat, which is going diagonally and up and down. And apparently this was put on a massive wall in Cork in Ireland. So I could just imagine these people like looking at it. But for me, it's a really interesting play on words and words becoming an image. And I think it's so simple, and people kind of sometimes forget that these days. They'll try and make something out of spaghetti or something, but really you can just, my kind of philosophy with design is that you can make it just with using typefaces and space. Okay, here's another really good one. This is my favorite. I'm going to read this one. Okay. This is a square poem. This poem is a square. Is this square a poem? This square is a poem. This square is a poem. Is this poem this square? This is a poem square. A poem square is this poem. This is a square. A square poem is this square. This is a poem. This is a poem square. And you know what's brilliant about this is that it's a square. And I don't know whether it's my kind of take on it all, but for me this is a brilliant piece of image making using words. You know, I've tried to do my own version. I've spent many a night trying to do a round poem or a triangle poem. Maybe if anyone succeeds in it, they can try and let me know, because I've never tried to do anything as good as this. And Bob Cobbin wasn't a graphic designer. He was a visual poet and a performance artist. But it just goes to show that other people were using typography essentially to create imagery. Okay, moving on. This is a piece of my work, which again I think is an image. It's using typography, and again it's using the language of what the message is, which is just simple as life is a laugh. And the way that it's designed is almost so boring. It's so plain, it's so boring. It's using a very, I suppose, obvious trick of the small words being small, and life and laugh being bigger. So you get that kind of message across. And the way that it's treated also makes it an image. It's made to look a bit letterpressy, it's made to look a bit old. So it's made to look, I suppose a lot of my work is trying to look that someone else has designed it, or it's already existed, or I just found it. So this for me is an image. Similarly, this is a book cover from a book we did about, I think it was called, I've got it written down, it's called Towards Re-Enchantment, and it was about people writing about their experiences of place in England. And I don't know if you guys can work it out, what's going on here. Can anyone work it out? It's pretty obvious, I think. Sorry? Sorry? It's the map. Yeah, it's the map. It's almost the map of all the contributors of where they were talking about. But again, it's a kind of play on it. It's not so obvious that it's actually a map with the outline of the UK around it. And it works if people don't get the idea that it's a map of the UK, but it also works if they do get the idea. And funnily enough, this was all approved to be the back cover. And I suddenly was sitting in my studio and I thought, hang on a minute, this would make a brilliant front cover. So it got promoted from the back to the front. So it's another image made out of type. What else have we got? Okay, here's another one. This is a poster for an artist, Mark Leckie, for the Serpentine last year. And again, this, you could argue, I suppose, isn't an image. But I would say it's using a kind of vernacular from a period of time of bill posters, where before you might use, there's a lot of white space here, but green space. Here you've got a lot of non-white space. It's the idea of bill posters, everything blown up, big as possible, for these kind of boxing posters. And the reason this came about is because the poster was about two statues, one which was a sound system, and the other one was a Henry Moore sculpture. And they were sat in the gallery opposite each other with this poster in the middle, almost acting as if there was going to be like a fight between the two. So again, I'm using the imagery of, I suppose, these old playbill posters where you've got different typefaces, different sizes, obvious colour, red and blue. What else we got? Okay. This is an interesting one. This is a print actually that I made as a contribution for a set of tarot cards. And you can see, again, I'm making, I suppose this is the only example I'm showing where I'm actually constructing an image of something from type. Can anyone work this out? Can anyone see what it says? Maybe it's a bit too blurred on this screen. What's that image of? What are those things? It's 6 ones. Okay. 6 ones? No? One wand? Wands, yeah, okay, yeah. So yes, it's 6 ones. It's 6 ones, but then if you turn it upside down, hopefully it'll come up. It's also 6 ones. So you can see that it's exactly the same. So it works in the way of a tarot card, where a playing card will work both way up. But in fact, that is a letter 1 in, I can't remember the font, I think it's some kind of Gill Sans, but I've turned it into a wand. But the play on words here is that a 1 is also the same as a wand. This is good, I think. Okay, can anyone read this? This is the idea of, actually, I always say in the studio that type is over. Forget type. Let's use images from now on. Type's finished. So this is my attempt at getting rid of type. Let's forget it. Let's forget words. Let's just use images. So what does this say? Anyone got any ideas? The first letter is quite easy. My, maybe? My? Sorry? The second one is really hard because that's actually a picture of my father, which no one would know here. So it's my father's. Next one? Yeah, my father's Jackson 5. Doesn't quite. Also, I should say that this is a project where we were asked to redesign the first page of Great Expectations. Does anyone know Great Expectations? Okay, so this is the first words from Great Expectations. So it's my father's family name. Okay, so you can see that we're now getting rid of type. We're forgetting words. We're just going to use images. So yeah, my father's family name. Then I thought, could you just do this for the whole book? And use Google Images. We all used to use Google Images and see what you get. So we did that. So you've got my father's family name being Pirip. Pirip, that's what we got. We just got a cat. So we just put it in. And my Christian name, Philip. We got Prince Philip. My infant tongue, got the Rolling Stones. Could make, someone making something. Of both names, nothing. You just get a black square. Longer, you get Venus thing. Or more explicit, you get the kind of the film music thing. The best line, I think, is the last line, which is, and came to be called Pip. Okay. I'm not sure you can see this. Can we turn the lights off? No. Okay. All right, I'm going to play this. How do I play it? Oh. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so this is a book. This is a book that I made with an artist, Giorgio Sodotti, a couple of years ago. And we got really interested in the idea of transparency, the idea of putting images within letters. Can I pause it? Not sure I can. Is there any way to pause it? Spacebar? No. Spacebar I'm doing. Okay. Where? Can't see it. Oh, it's down there. Oh. Oh. I don't know. I'll keep it going. But anyway, we slowed it down so I could talk over it. It's just the idea of letters within letters and images within those letters. So when you get, the reason I've shown you this film is so you get on one side of the page, you might get a letter A, and on the other side of the page, you'll get the reverse of the A with another letter. So hopefully it will see, so that there's an S within an I. Did you see that? And there's a T within an O. So you've got this interplay. And this spelled out a long word. So this developed into a typeface. So, letters within letters, that's the concept. We thought, could you make this into a typeface? So, can anyone read this? And it can't be anyone from my studio.
He.
Sorry?
He.
He.
Yeah.
Nearly. Instead of thinking about 2 letters, think about 4 letters. Hide. Yeah, okay. Heidi. Heidi. Okay, you got the concept. So, we thought, could we combine every letter behind every letter in the whole alphabet? So you've got an A behind a B, an A behind a C, an A behind a D. And what we're taking, the new letter form is the intersection between the two is kept, and the other stuff where it's just one letter is just thrown away. And you get these amazing shapes. It's kind of like an invention. This is kind of like a Olympic diving board with a bed. And it's 2 letters together. So what are the 2 letters? A and an E. Sorry, this is like a little game. A and an E, yeah. What's this one? I and a U. This is the prong or the test tube? Yeah. This is my logo for Jay-Z. If he wants to use it, he can pay me for it. This is the hammer. T and an S, yeah. So for me, these are, we're getting a bit off track, but for me, this is an image. This is a new sculptural image formed simply by 2 letters. That one's hard. N and a K, maybe. Oh, W and a K. W and a K. So that's the whole font. And the font, as I said, has probably got 676, 26 times 26 characters. And it's a workable font. As you can see, it says the end. And that is the end of me. Thank you very much.